Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Sitting in the tailgate of my truck. There's somebody fishing right outside of my dock, and I didn't want to sit on the dock and record, but yet it's starting to get a little bit darker, so figured I'd just shoot out here. This is the front of the property. Got kind of a hill right there in front of us, rocks and all sorts of stuff. Hope everybody's doing well. So today I want to talk about a concept I heard somewhere. I listen to stuff on the internet all the time. And this concept is you cannot complain your way to health and happiness. So, a little bit of tough love here. So, relax, breathe a little bit. So many birds, it's crazy. Oh, and I got an app for my phone that is a bird identifier. So it'll just listen, and then it'll tell you the calls and identify them, which is pretty neat. So, you cannot complain your way to health and happiness. So, for anybody who needs to hear this, a little bit of tough love, right? I get it. Symptoms are tough. And I complained about my back and sciatica for well over a decade. And it didn't get me anywhere. It just delayed recovery. And I certainly wasn't happy. And the people around me weren't happy. Nobody likes to hear you complain. Because in this world of chronic physical symptoms, they don't know what to do for you. So if you're complaining all the time, and they're like, oh, they don't really know how to help. So they listen. And there's actually a thing called caretaker fatigue. So for the people who are helping to care for you, it gets tiring for them. And I'm not saying this in any way, shape, or form to make you feel worse about what's going on. But it's the truth, if you've ever had to care for an elderly parent, and do that for a long period of time, you get fatigued. You get tired of doing that. And so our partners, our spouses, our family gets fatigued by that. But forget all that. If you are spending any amount of time complaining out loud to the people around you, or even in your head, you're delaying recovery. Because simply put, complaining says, I'm in a situation I don't like. I'm in a situation that's bad, aka dangerous. And when you do that, what we're doing is perpetuating the brain's perception that you're in danger. And with perceived danger, symptoms will continue. So there's no real benefit to complaining. Look, it's wonderful to get some empathy, sympathy from the people around you. But if that's on a regular basis, and that's kind of like your go-to conversation is complaining how bad it hurts or how awful you feel, that will actually delay your recovery. And I'm not saying you're not allowed to express what's going on. But make sure that if you do, it's this much of your conversation and mental space and safety, and I'm going to be okay, becomes a much, much bigger part of your mental activity, right? Because again, the dominant voice is what's going to win out. And the credible evidence of safety are thoughts, our emotions, our behaviors, our belief about what's causing the symptoms. That credible evidence of safety, needs to outweigh the brain's false perception of danger. And so complaining, where does that fit in? Definitely in the danger category, right? So you cannot complain your way to happiness or health. And let's talk about happiness for a bit. People who are always complaining are generally pretty miserable. And they're probably complaining because they're miserable, but complaining keeps them miserable. And I think we do have a responsibility to ourselves to go, Life is tough. I'm going to make the best of it. I'm going to smile. I'm going to do things that feel good to me, right? Whatever it is that feels good for you, do more of that. Because when you're doing things that feel good to you, the brain says, oh, that's safe. He must be okay, as opposed to walking around complaining. And at the end of the day, do you want sympathy? Or do you want to achieve success in your recovery so that you can live symptom-free? Because complaining may get you sympathy, but it doesn't get you better. And it certainly doesn't get you happy, right? We may experience some really tough times on this journey. We've got a choice. We can either experience those tough times and be miserable, or we can experience those same exact tough times and be happy. You're going, this dude is nuts. He wants me to be happy, feeling the way I feel? Well, you do have a choice. You can smile. You can call a friend, not to talk about or complain about the symptoms, but you can do things that will bring you a little bit closer to joy. And for the people who say, I can't even find any joy, it's because your brain's priority is safety and survival. Joy, happiness, not on the list yet. But when the brain feels safer and the danger signals come down, the brain will open up some space and capacity for you to start feeling joy and happiness again. And I see it all the time in my group coaching as people feel better and better and better. Their smiles get more and more natural and authentic. And so, short video today. You cannot complain your way to health and happiness. It just doesn't work. It keeps the perception of danger going. And nobody's happy when they're in danger. So, I hope this helps kind of reflect or shine a light on the people out there who, through no fault of your own, ended up in a really tough situation. But observe your behavior. Observe your response to it. Because if you are complaining, that in and of itself will delay recovery, because that is not a message of safety. So I hope that makes sense. No judgment, no shame. Just a gentle encouragement to notice when you start complaining and go, oh, that's probably not going to help me get better. So I'm going to choose not to do it. Right? It's a choice. We can choose not to complain. Because when we're complaining, we're kind of throwing ourselves one of those pity parties. And we are playing the victim. And none of those things is empowering and saying, I'm going to be okay. So pay attention to what you're doing, how you're doing it. And if you're noticing yourself complaining, maybe you can just put a hard stop on that. See how that goes. Anyway, I love you all. And I guess, as usual, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.